Oh, pardon about that. Nothing like a good old croak to start with, is there? Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of the Inworld Review. This is a show where we look at the arts, people, and various destinations that can be found on the hypergrid. And for those of you who don't know what the hypergrid is, it's a networking system for virtual worlds that allows you to jump from one to another, taking your inventory and other assets with you. The sole criteria is that you have to be using a virtual world or worlds that operates with the open simulator engine. But there are hundreds, if not thousands, of these worlds, and they're based on a similar system to another world you may have heard of back in the day called Second Life. Second Life, however, is a walled garden. It's rather laggy, but it's a great old high street. It's full of people buying clothes for their, for their avatars and things like that. The open simulator is a much more open system. Anyway, I'm going to introduce, first who's here. On my right-hand side is my right-hand man, the man with the knobs and the for the camera and sound and everything else, none other than James Atloud.
Oh, thank you, Mal. As always, it's great to be here and have a good time with our webcast. I love it.
Indeed. And sad to say that my regular co-host who was going to be here today, she actually did arrive but had technical problems and has had to leave. So in absentia, so to speak, I'd like to say, hi, Thursday. Sorry you couldn't make it, and we'll be talking about you a lot. And the reason we'll be talking about her a lot is that James will know this too. We're all regular on the Hypergrid Safari. On Wednesday, the latest Hypergrid Safari celebrated its 10th anniversary. Yeah, that's right, 10th. Year, that is, not day. It's been going a long while, so much so that I could barely sort of believe it. And it really doesn't seem right to be doing this without her, because she is one of the champions of it. But I'm grateful that we do have our guest this week, who is actually one. I guess there was sort of three people, if we can Wizikinoid. But the other person, who started Safari, I guess, with so back in the day, was Fuschia Nightfire, otherwise known as Nina Camplin. So. We'll be revealing a bit about that as we go along. So I'll call you Fuschia for this program. So welcome, Fuschia.
Thank you for having me.
It's absolutely wonderful to have you, and you're going to get a chance to speak a lot because we haven't got this. So, I was wondering where to do a show on you, particularly as a later date, actually, and might still be worth it from the sort of RL art point of view. But for the purposes of this program, we sort of divide ourselves between the virtual, mostly the virtual, and the sort of history of Hypergrid Safari. And one of the very good things in this case is that back in the day, you were very prolific in terms of making films. So you actually, we got a film here from you, for example, from the first Safari, I think it is, and then a sort of Safari drop-in, which is also similar to an idea for a program I'm sort of thinking of doing, where we look back on the safaris. And and some of the really classic things. So I think whilst we're on this, just to introduce the fun side of the show, so to speak, before I do it, I'm just going to get the 3 slides out of the way because they're in a separate folder. On our big screen behind me at the moment, we have a picture of you in the atomic world. And I'm showing this because you're obviously the first person in history who's managed to actually get a virtual asset onto your head in real life.
I did actually make that hat myself as well. I didn't make the actual hat. I made all the accessories onto it.
Oh, right. I'm so jealous because I used to collect hats in Second Life many years ago from a place called the Mad Hattery.
I've got a few from there as well.
Yeah, I used to go in every couple of weeks and just stock up on, I've got ones that have got video cameras on them, and they don't work. They just look tremendously good. So the moment I saw you post that, I thought, oh, jealous. I want that hat. So also, what have I got here? We've also got another a slightly paler version of this in a slideshow on the other side at the moment. But this it looks very much like one of Susie's covers. This was a band, of course, called Susie and the Banshees, and very I love them, and they were very. They're sort of punk, post-punk, really, and she's actually back and touring again now, but has been off the road for quite a long while. But that is very much her image. You know, it almost looks like a painting, which it is. But I mean, if you saw it in the flesh, it's a heavily painted face too. So that's sort of nice. And the other one I've got here, let's just separate them. This one I'm going to talk to you quite a lot about. I actually came to see you painting this mural on the building there.
Yes, we met in real life, didn't we?
Yeah. One of the most interesting things about this, though I can't find any old film, you know, Inworld film to go with it, but you actually built this in a region on open sim. It may even have been OS Grid or Franco Grid or somewhere. It was a lockdown region. Nobody could actually find it, you know, stumble upon it. But you used it to actually prototype the whole painting and building and structure here.
I did.
Obviously, you didn't build the building, but you created the optical illusion, or whatever we call it, on the outside there. And
I actually used to do it with a lot of my murals, because to create the 3D effect, I used to actually make it in a grid, on a grid. So and then take pictures at various angles, because obviously when you're doing something like this in real life, you need to find your vanishing point for the perspective. So when you take it from, you know, when I used to be able to come in and Inworld, set the scene up, and then take pictures from different angles to find out which angle was going to work best for all the perspective.
You know, that's a very good point, because all the images to the right-hand side there, they've all got their wall on the left, you know, the 3D wall, but when you go to the bathroom and the one above it don't, you know,
because that specific building only had one viewpoint from where the cars drove down the side, because the other three sides of the building were all fenced off because there was a car park around it.
Ah, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just people driving by. Yeah. No, it's it's great. And you know, I don't want to name check and things, but you know, the artist Renee McGree. It reminds me, what you do reminds me of that a bit, where you're sort of looking through a fake window and to another place, and that optical illusion that goes with it. And I used to have my notepaper when I was very young, when I was publishing comic books. My letterhead had a fist, you know, like the comic book fist coming out of the panel, but it actually did actually come out of the panel, and it bled off the edge of the notepaper. You know, the fist itself was holding a visiting card, and which was a copy of my calling card.
Right.
And I was very glad of that, because you know, and everybody, I got really pissed off after a while, because everybody saw it. Says, "Can you do that for me?" You know, not can I come up with an idea for them? Can I have a copy version of yours? You know. But anyway, it's a lovely sort of effect. So yeah, and yes, as I say, that we met in the organic sphere for this one, and when it was still covered with, I called it scaffolding, but what did you call it?
It was a scissor lift. I was way up at the top, wasn't I, on a scissor lift, because I had to come down. You were at the bottom. Nina!
Yes, I sort of came into the bottom there and shouted, Nina, Nina.
Yeah.
Fun.
20 minutes later, you heard me and came down on the scissors. Yeah, I loved that. Yeah, oh, that was great fun too. But no, it's very much a typical thing. We'll be looking at some other stuff on your website if we have time as well. So there's, you know, it's this style of artwork just intrigues me. You know, the optical illusion thing. You know,
that's what I like to specialize in when I was doing all the murals.
All right, I'll come to. In fact, actually, while we're on the subject, because our plans are all over the place here, really, I'm moving here. Yes, that's right. Oh, it's the same picture, but yeah, it's a bit more of it here. We got a bit more of the traffic, so a bit boring it is. But this, this picture is actually on your website here. This is your website, and obviously you do a lot of these murals, and you've got a whole set for pet portraits. And I found a wonderful one that I think was sent to you that wasn't yours, so I can't.
That's right, yeah.
I put it away now, but you did say you wish you'd done it because somebody sent a picture of a dog.
Well, I think somebody sent me that picture and said, "Is this one of yours?" And I said, "No, I wish it was."
And this, of course, was before we had the famous AI, the Mid-Journey and that sort of stuff. What do you think about all that?
Well, I've actually found it's really good for making reference pictures.
Yeah.
So that if I want to get a specific subject, instead of spending a lot of money on a one of the media provider, that you have to pay for photographs, I will actually use AI to get, say I want a picture of Robin on a branch or something, instead of paying one of the, the places that
Stock library.
Stock library, that's the word. Instead of paying for something on there, I'll just use AI now.
Yeah.
And I can
it's
get
funny, there was
reference pictures.
a lot of controversy at the beginning, but like everybody I talked to, not everybody, some people just do it for the hell of it, and it shows, but people are finding their specific uses for it as an augmented tool sort of thing.
I have noticed, though, that a lot of the artwork in virtual worlds now is AI.
Yeah. And on
So
Facebook.
Yeah.
I follow various artists. I don't spend much time in Facebook, but I'll go down my feed every now and again, and I'll get a picture, and I'll think, "Oh, that's pretty good old AI there."
Yes.
I look at who posted it, and I don't know who posted it, but they'll have posted it to a group that normally specializes, I don't know, in surrealism or something.
Right.
It's a bit alarming when you realize that's not the real thing.
Yeah.
But as a creative tool, it's obviously got lots of sort of uses. I've got a text one on my machine, but I still haven't really tried using it. Okay, moving on down from there. So you've got murals, and you also do pet portraits, which are just kind of cute, aren't they? All pets are cute. There's a doggy, and there's another dog. And this is a self-portrait with a doggy. Yes?
I delivered it, and he put it up on the wall and wanted me to stand in front of it. I don't look happy about it, do I?
Oh no! I thought the slightly distorted look to you was actually. I thought you painted yourself. Okay, you're photographed in front of it. Okay, we're both embarrassed by that. Lovely. I love my cats. Well, I love dogs too. So. I got a new neighbour here a couple of years ago, and she is a dog trainer. And every time I pass her, she's got about 3 different dogs in tow. So they're lovely. They're lovely, realistic sort of portraits, but they're neither surrealism here. They're just great.
People just want them to look like their dogs. There's not much creativity involved in those ones.
So I'm moving to the murals here. So we'll pull up a few of these as we go. They're very different. I think this is is this the one that's like a child's bedroom that you've actually... looking close up, it's all the little bits of it, the walls you painted, and the head. The chicken on the on the radiator and stuff like that, It
was only about, I think he was about 6 years old, and she wanted me to put little bits in, so he had to find them. There are like little mice hidden in the corners and all kinds of things that he has to look for. So it was a semi-educational video, mural, I mean.
How many years until he finds every mouse and gets tired of it?
He's probably done it by now. Yeah.
Probably. And there's a bit of a detail there. Right. Well, I see what it's done. The old back button. Thank goodness for that. So there was another one coming up here that I think. This was quite funny. Farm in Swindon. Just the the whole object is a bit weird there. It's not so much the optical illusion.
I found that very strange when I was doing it, because that's called the jam machine, and the children go in one side as strawberries supposedly, and they come down the slide as jam.
Oh,
It's a bit gruesome to me.
it does. I mean, of course, that would really only work in a virtual world, wouldn't it? Pity the children. Oh, dear. Yeah, I've seen a lot of gimmicks. There was a machine in OpenSim somewhere in Second Life too, I think, that ate people. Well, ate the avatar and then speeded out the other end somewhere.
Well, I remember when I was a newbie, there was a plant that ate me and then spat me out as a distorted, when they stretched your neck and bent your arms all out of place. I couldn't work out how to undistort my avatar. I think I walked around like that for about 3 days.
In Second Life, my avatar is a lovely little mesh pussycat, but when I have to change into a normal thing, all these mesh pieces go all over the place, and usually it's okay until I try to change back again. And even on Safari, we get some odd places where people arrive in pieces.
Yes.
I don't mean they don't res. I mean they actually arrive in pieces. Somebody's wearing their own head on their back.
Yeah,
things like that. Way crazy. This isn't like his room, but I like that picture. I mean, I noticed that one. Does that blow up? Oh, yes, it does. Yeah, you have a sort of expression on your face, and what have I drawn? Has it come to life? Is this a horror movie? But that's rather nice. I hope you're not too embarrassed by my showing you all these candid pictures of you. There's a few of me online too, so don't worry about it. Right now, where I was. This one again is a bit like the side of that building, but it's actually a different wall. It's what you might call a mall. Oh,
so I think I've got a broken link by the look of it.
Oh, yeah. I found this yesterday. Yes, it's a broken link. It's the same as that link.
That one. Yeah, I'll have to fix that.
There's the one we've been talking about.
Yes.
All right. This is another of what I call the McGree type sort of thing, where you actually. Oh, have I done it again?
No, that's right. Very small.
Yeah, this one of course has a. Oh, I thought it had a dog looking down outside.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Oh, it does? Not on that picture then. Okay. Oh, this is. I know. Oh, yeah. There it is. Right. It's just quite small.
Yeah.
Mixing your appetite for pets and surrealism, as it were. And
so that one. Go back a bit to that pierhead one on the bottom on the right. That was the first one that I did of the broken wall, and it was that one that got me the Valspar job.
Right, and I remember this. I don't know. I just went past it and not realised. And of course, this one actually shows the two of you actually working.
That was the first big mural that I did, and that one got on TV. It got on national press, and it got me a lot of work, a lot of publicity, and a lot of work. But that one, there's someone from the marketing department at Valspar saw this one, and that's what gave them the idea for the one in Clerkenwell Road.
Ah, right. So that it puts it in context, right? And of course, well, you can see the similarities. This is much more rustic, though, isn't it? It's sort of
well, the building was actually falling down anyway, so a lot of it, when you looked at the actual building, you couldn't tell what was painted and what was breaking off.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
You can see the bits above it. It was quite dangerous. It's been knocked down now, but there were actually, when they had a lot of wind, the chunks of that building used to fall off.
Yeah, until you see the top, it looks like a sort of old bomb shelter or something. Or, but yes, it's quite, close-up detail there too. Once again, the animals are intruding into our optical illusion.
Yeah, I did a lot about dogs in streets and in straight, so that you did a double take, whether it was a real dog or if it was a painting on the wall of a dog. They were life-size dogs, just in odd places, and I did a load of them. Must have been about 100 of them in various places.
Nice.
And this one's great because the kids, the real world kid there, you look through that window and it looks like a very familiar scene, and of course it's this, and we all know what that is.
Nighthawk.
the night.
And then when you look on the back wall, there's a Simpsons version of the Nighthawks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think. Well, if it's not visible anyway, wherever it is.
I saw it.
Yeah, it's to the side. It was quite a long, narrow building. I don't know if there is a picture of all of them there together. The whole lot.
All right, so we could probably spend all day on your pictures on the website. Those are cactus in the desert. I'm tempted to click on everything, and then we'll be here all day. There's a nice little cat in the window there.
Yeah.
Is that the one you mentioned just now?
No, that was the same build. There was a dog in the window on the other side of that house. But that's further down. It was one of the first ones I did. And once someone saw that, I kept getting asked, can you paint my dog on my wall? And I ended up just doing loads and loads of me. Oh, there it is. Go down a little bit further.
I've just clicked on well, Mona Lisa. I thought, yes, that's sort of interesting.
That restaurant was called
Go down further here.
Left. Dog in the window.
Oh, yes.
So that was my first dog mural. And that was the one that everyone kept seeing, and everybody was, God, look how young I look there.
Yeah, well, don't we all? Sometimes we do, actually. That's a good few years ago.
Yeah, it's nice.
But the paws hanging out the window is what makes it there. It makes it a totally 3D experience.
And the curtain.
The curtain blowing,
the curtain blowing too, yeah. Attractive dog too. I like them.
Yeah, so that was my very first trompe l'oeil painting that I did.
Look great. I could look at them all day. Right. Right. Well, at the bottom of the page, that's
So basically in date order, the bottom ones are the earlier ones that I did.
Right. This one, I don't know. It's, right, actually. Yes,
that was in Luton. That was when I won a design award for that. That was a subway, an underpass, I should say. And it was about 200 yards long.
So
they're all...
There's separate paintings in the...
it was all landmarks and iconic buildings in Luton.
Yeah. Very good. Well, you're off to a good start there. These may be early works, but it's still the standard test of time. And I
went back to Luton actually about 3 years ago, and that's still there. That's about 25 years old now.
Wow.
Well, I should hope so. Aren't they protected by English heritage or anything?
Not in Luton.
More stuff should be protected by English heritage, I think. Banksy gets protected, doesn't he? I think he's the only one that
Yes. Well, when I was doing all the dog murals, I had an article in one of the local press, and they called me Barksy.
That's wicked.
I kind of adopted that for a while, calling myself Barksy. I thought that was brilliant.
Did you ever come across Slim Warrior?
No.
She's a musician. She's got her voice. You sound really like her voice-wise. She's a musician in Second Life, but she got a lot of media attention because she was the first British musician to be in Second Life. There'd been a dual resistance and a few Americans before her. When she started DJing in the real world, she called herself Slim Girl Fat. So I think she was thinking in a similar way. Take something everybody knows and play on it,
Excellent.
Right. So I'm going to move more to our Inworld stuff now, because that is why we're here, and we're sort of we're quite a few minutes into it. I'll just give us a very brief break, because it means I can show picture-wise. Where are we? Very, very quickly, completely off topic here, as it were. if I can find it, I'm supposed to have it here somewhere. Oh, these are just quick pictures celebrating Safari. These pictures are part of a talk Tessa gave in Italian at our HIE conference recently. She just montage pictures where we got the clubhouse in OS Grid, in Franco Grid, in Avacon and Metropolis and OS Grid.
Wow.
The Metropolis and Franco Grid are no longer there. The grids themselves have gone. But
Have they? Oh.
it's a shame, isn't it? That's what's happened. And this, of course, Il Primo Safari by Wizard. Here is the third person, of course, Wizard, who was playing around with you. And L'Animal, I wasn't there, but this must have been your first stop. And I often used to go to L'Animal.
I didn't actually join the Hypergrid Safari until about the fourth one. I knew nothing about it, and then Thurza told me about it, and I think it was about the fourth one that I came onto it.
Ah, okay. Well, I used to go preceding Hypergrid Safari. Pathfinder Leicester, Pathfinder Linden of old had a group called, I forget the word called now, for Hypergrid Explorers or something like that, and when basically he talked to Thurza and the Hypergrid Safari sort of took over from it a bit. And Pathfinder was actually on all the early Safaris as well.
Yes, it was.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
But that one, this is all part of a talk she gave in Italian. So which explains the fact I can't read half of it. But just sort of, it's another one. That was the place for the teleports. I don't think that exists anymore, but that was always useful. But it was actually a bit of a maze, about 300 or 400 of these teleports.
Oh my God!
I'll walk through that and oops, where's the back button? Get the right one. And the idea of sort of hypergrid airport type of things, they were very popular for a while. I mean, it's actually so easy to do now. This one, interesting, there's part of her talk, but this is 2010, so this predated the hypergrid as such, but this is sort of what the map of the OpenSim looked like back then. And this was before they fixed a bug in the software, and there were actually 3 different levels to the hypergrid. And eventually they found a tiny bit of code and they fixed this and it all became one. But at that time, it had different coordinates, but they also had different elevations. So the one in the middle, as you can see, was the busiest.
Yeah.
Reaction grid and OS grid were. Oh, hang on, Franco grid. Where was OS grid? Was it in the middle?
On the right.
I can't see it. The OS grid was huge, but
it's on the right one, Mel, at the top.
On the. Yeah. Oh, yes, OS grid by itself. Yeah, of course. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, back in the day, even that was quite small. So, go figure.
Yeah.
This was quite nice. That's the hypergrid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 regions on that map on the left. That is, I think that Franco grid obviously had bits in it. So those are the grids, and then the regions have been marked up there. It just takes you back there, and you think, if we had the Hypergrid Safari back then, it would be a season of about 6 weeks, and it would all be over. There's Pathfinder's own place where the previous things were held, and a picture of Pathfinder himself there. And Arts Parks was actually there's this blog back in the days of Second Life. I used to follow that blog. I never at the time realized, well, I didn't know Thurza then, if you see what I mean. That was always a fun blog, for that, and not possible in real life as well. Yeah, and another early one, Crystal Lopez, of course, it still looks like that. She authored the structure of the hypergrid, and these are all the major people, major players, shall we say. And then woof, what is that? This is we're going to take an interlude here, right? Because we have to play this. the sound is probably not quite as good as you originally did, but I will play it anyway. And it's actually called The Road Less Traveled, and it's by a Second Life performer. He's credited in the music, but you used his track basically as a promo for the Safari. So it sort of combines music with the Safari.
I enjoy combo.
Yeah, and this is also a great, as I said at the beginning, you did do a lot of video back in the day, and they're all kind of.
I did.
I go through them and I go, oh, can I show this? Can I show this? And I thought, no, I'm going to do a 24-hour marathon for Fuschia videos. Anyway, here we go. If it's gone.
I corrupted my pathway, fallen trees lay on up ahead. Block my course with a danger map, trying to reach my journey's end. I guess it's true, might not make it through to you. If I don't find my way back home, I'm gonna hold my head high and soldier along. Where is my St. Christopher? Oh, when I need him the most. The joke's on me now. Said it was all a pose. But see, take the road less travel, boy. You discover a world that's filled with joy. Step by step, I can take it in your stride. Come on now, don't be too scared to even try. Cause you take the road less travel, yeah, yeah, yeah. Cause you take the road less travel, yeah, yeah, yeah. Take the road less travel. 100 million miles of freeway. Tell you now that's heaven sent. Running quicker than a heartbeat down this road that has no end. Will I see those guiding lights that you promised me? Talk is cheap, it's true. Said I was full of belief. See, take the road less travel, boy. You discover a world that's filled with joy. Step by step, you can take it in your stride. Come on now, don't be too scared to even try. See, take the road less travel, yeah, yeah, yeah. See, take the road less travel, yeah, yeah, yeah. Take the road less travel. I guess it's true, might not make it through to you. If I don't find my way back home, I'm gonna hold my head high and soldier along. Where is my St. Christopher? Oh, when I need him the most. The joke's on me now. Said it was all a pose. See, take the road less travel, boy. You discover a world that's filled with joy. Step by step, you can take it in your stride. Come on now, don't be too scared to even try. See, take the road less travel, boy. You discover a world that's filled with joy. Step by step, you can take it in your stride. Come on now, don't be too scared to even try. See, take the road less travel, yeah, yeah, yeah. See, take the road less travel, yeah, yeah, yeah. Take the road less travel. Take the road less travel.
Blind Boy Gumbo there, excellent musician, really, and equally excellent film, I might say. And while that was playing, I thought it's time to give her a cue, but you beat me to it. If we actually look in World, this was going to be a surprise for Thurza, who unfortunately isn't with us to be surprised. Maybe she had a premonition or something. Just tell us about these. These are the same three. These are animated versions of your three.
Yeah, so this was taken from the video. But you can see the halo around it because it was done on a green screen. So they're not particularly great quality, but they are quite fun.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when they, I'm sure I remember being at a kind of party or a hyper good event or something where these suddenly appeared, you know.
Yeah, the first anniversary party, I made all these attachments and things for it. And also, let's add that one as well, the Land Rover.
Oh yes, we got a static one of those near the entrance, in fact, which I guess James will show shortly. But yes, oddly enough, on my screen these are not rotating. So, but they're still the people are still walking. You know, so and there were some great shots in that video where kind of you panned in, so we're actually only seeing below the waist. Nothing rude intended or anything, but you were actually looking at different locations through the legs, so to speak. Yeah. It was just that weird experience. Yeah. Let's have a if James is okay about this, feel free to comment as we're going along here, by the way, James. I noticed we have in our surrounding bits around us, obviously I'm panning in and nobody can see what I'm doing, but maybe if James I can't see what's being broadcast, unfortunately, but I'm starting with the one on the left as I'm looking towards the stage. Do you want to tell us anything about these? This is the sort of twisty one with the spiral going up into the air.
The Embrace, I think that's called. The Embrace. So this was one of the first sculptures that I ever made in Second Life. It's only about 5-6 prims, something like that.
Yeah.
Which, what is it? 6. Oh, 8 prims.
Counting. Well, in those days, that was
that was when I was first learning how to twist prims.
Right. The mangling.
Yeah.
Prim mangler. Yeah. Oh, it's very effective because I mean, you know, these things are statues, but they got motion too, and also they qualify as the not possible in real life thing, really. Although I wouldn't put it past some artists to figure out a way to do it. Then we have a very strange-looking zebra, I guess it is.
So the zebra, that was part of an installation that I did in Second Life. That was at the University of Western Australia, and it was called "Not Everything Is Just Plain Black and White." And I took all the white out of the zebra, and I used to play a lot with the glitch in alpha textures. So you know, when it overlapped things and it used to disappear. I mean, if you look at that zebra with the C behind it, it starts to disappear in the middle there. And I still love playing with that kind of and invisible textures as well. So I used to make avatars that were just outlines.
Yeah. Well, my mesh avatar right now, which is I've only had this for less than a year, I think. It's you know, it's basically invisible. Underneath all the attributes on top of it, and you know, it's a different way of doing things, but you know, it's it works. But I like the way you said, you know, you found the glitch and thought, oh, I'll make some art out of this, you know.
Yeah, it just fascinated me the way, but I think they've fixed it now in Second Life because. Yeah, I was trying to do stuff that I used to do, and you just can't do it. You can, but you have to have your viewer set in a certain way, and the default doesn't do it. So you'd need to put instruction cards for everyone. People don't read them, you know. They just walk through and they can't see anything because their defaults are set to fix the glitch.
Fair enough. The one on the right here now, or right to me anyway, is certain that. I'm not quite sure what it is. It looks like a flattened Star Wars spaceship.
It's a bird, actually. It's a driftwood bird.
It's a driftwood bird, right? Yeah. Of course. Why didn't I think of that? Sometimes things do need explaining. I must say, this was one of the more recent ones you came here and put up since we were here the other day. So I thought, oh, I wonder what that one is. And the one right in front here, at the very edge of our little island, so to speak. You told me a minute ago what this was called. Stargazer. That's it.
Yeah.
Very, very geometric, sort of symbolic figure, and then just the wonderful particles, around it, sort of bringing
again just all plain prims, no mesh, no sculptors in that one. It was all just twisted prims and stretched prims. A lot of prims, I think.
Well, that was the norm in those days, wasn't it?
Yes.
And finally, there's this dark one here, and of course, this is all prims too, as you told me. In fact,
yeah,
I've seen this texture in various other weird shapes that have been prim mangled. But of course, when I first saw it, I thought, "Oh, that's a mesh. You can do that with prims." But of course, you did.
Yeah, that's all prims as well. Yes.
Sort of iconic sort of couple. Very much I can't remember what that style of art is even called. It's not one that's always been much on my radar. But in the world of painting, which obviously, there's only one artist who did that kind of symbolic kind of thing, not in 3D, but
Yeah.
the name escapes me. But as I say, so that's have I got them all? Yes, I have. I've got them all now.
Yeah.
So I can
Excellent.
come in and return to the stage where everything's going on. Right. Now, I'm going to move to another slideshow on the left. You can probably see, if James wants to pan out a little bit to a long shot, that we've got 5 paintings of yours in the background here. We already saw another version of the Susie Sue one. But on the left there's another one in a similar style that you did of The Cure.
Yes,
Robert, to be precise. So I'm just going to load these slides quickly. These are the same 5 images, but they're a bit bigger on the slideshow here. And I know James has a preset for the screen as a rule. So the first one here is pretty much abstract, isn't it?
yes.
Is it? Did it have meaning? Well, a question I was tempted to ask.
Siren song. That was kind of inspired by the landscape. It looks almost like the mountain that's right opposite my house, but it's also got a feeling of sea about it, which is why I called it Siren Song. So it looked more like sea movement and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just abstract. I've been playing with abstract quite a lot over the last couple of years, just experimenting.
I have mixed feelings about abstract. Well, not feelings. I love it all. I mean, there's the aesthetic ones, which if they click, and you love them. You want them to be a wall. And there's others where I sort of can just stare at it for a long time and actually see forms emerge, as it were, which aren't apparent there when you look at it first. On the other hand, I have to say there are a few abstract things I have looked at that have made no sense to me whatsoever by either of those criteria. But no, that make a good wall actually. Put it on the wall.
These are highly layered because I tend not to use like brand new canvases. If I've had a painting that's been hanging around for a long time and nobody's interested in buying it, I will paint over it. So these have all got other paintings underneath them, and I'll just stick bits on them. And that one, Siren Song's got a lot of metallic. Actually, they've all got a lot of metallic in the abstracts. There's a lot of gold paint in them. So it catches the light in different ways when you walk past it, which obviously you don't get that effect when it's just a texture uploaded in virtual worlds.
Yeah, gold and silver paint is it's a real nightmare to reproduce with printing. And
yes,
I love the painting on the frame. That's one.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the frame there because the frame actually does have that sort of, well, actually it has the flavour of that kind of tacky gold frame,
I've got visions of people in the future doing that X-ray thing and finding, because that one was a painting underneath. It was I think a portrait of me and a group of friends, and I covered it with an old duvet cover. If you look up in the top right of that painting, you can see like leopard print and animal print. It was an old duvet cover that I just pasted onto the old painting and then started playing on top of that. So you've got some of that coming through. Layers, lots of layers.
Did I interrupt you, James? Were you going to make comments on this?
No. I just commented on the frame.
Oh, right. Yeah, the frame within there. Now, this, of course, is Robert from The Cure.
Yeah.
Robert. God, I've forgotten.
So I did a whole series of icons from my youth, really. You know, people, pop icons that I really admired, and obviously The Cure and Susie. I did John Lydon as well.
Oh.
I think that's on the website. That's still on my website. But this one's now in the States, and it was bought by one of my Second Life friends.
Ah, that's
in
nice.
real life. Yeah.
How big is it? It looks. It has a feeling that it was probably quite a nightmare to ship.
No, it's only 40 centimeters square.
Oh, okay. All right.
So not too big.
I should have thought of this beforehand. I actually, about late 70s. This time, actually, I was working on a project called Rock Art. It was much more, unfortunately, the demands were that it was much more commercial, you know, like sort of comic strip style paintings of the Clash and Johnny Rotten and stuff. But I got away with some slightly more, less commercial ones, so to speak. And I did another book called Visions of Rock, but that was actually all the outtakes, and it wasn't really very good. But yeah, so I remember all these, you know, the market was demanding who we got the artist in, and we asked them to do a portrait, but you know, they were commissioned to do an actual portrait because that was what the market was demanding. You know, it wasn't. I think the first one was an artist to do a head of Blondie. And he actually he did it himself off his own back, and actually it gave us the whole idea for the series, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, fond memories of all those figures. I don't know whether we ever had one of The Cure, but we did so many. I probably did somewhere. So moving on to that, then we got the one of Susie, the similar sort of style, and then okay, maybe there's one. Oh, yeah, we did have one in the middle there, didn't we? Yeah, okay. So we've done those bits. I'm rapidly trying to remember what we've still got to do. Okay, oh, yeah, and bios on stage here. This was one of your original signs for Hypergrid Safari that appeared all over the place, like who we are, group of friends, another grid. So where was that? Was that was just an advert for the clubhouse and stuff, really?
Yeah, I think this was outside the clubhouse in OS Grid, and I think they put one at Franco Grid as well when they had that one there. But yeah, early days. It's still the first year that we were doing it.
It's funny, the logo she uses for Hypergrid Safari and the animal skin and everything else hasn't changed at all.
No,
I think a few years ago. It wasn't on the Avacon Grid. It was somewhere else that I think it was Great Canadian Grid or somewhere where we had a clubhouse region, and I think that's the last time I saw this res, as it were. But it's nice. I like the typeface too. It makes you sort of you don't read it quickly. You know, you pause a little bit, you know, to get it all. Right. So let's get back to. Let's get back to stage. I don't know why I'm camming around. I'm not the cameraman here. Okay. So, yeah. Here's another little funny one, actually. I thought we'd have to show it. She was a regular. I haven't seen her for a long while. I think she was a bit disabled. I'm not sure. But her name was Truly Telling. And Road Less Traveled, by the way, was a soundtrack you did also for the University of Australia, Western Australia's machinima thing, which I was a judge on those days, so I remember all your submissions from there.
We actually wrote that song for that video I did for University of Western Australia.
Yeah.
Because I was travelling through all the art installations. Yeah. And I was doing a lot of work with him at the time, and I asked him if he'd write a song for my video. So that song was actually written for the entry that I put into UWA. Oh.
And it's such a good song. I can listen to it fairly endlessly. I wouldn't put it on replay all the while, but you know, it's well produced. It's the punctuation, the musicianship, and even the voice. Everything is good. You know, sort of. I can imagine he must get gigs way outside the virtual sphere. I would hope so, anyway. But...
yeah, I think he gave up playing in virtual worlds because his real life career was starting to take off a bit more. At least I'm hoping that's what happened, because I know he did withdraw quite a lot from the virtual worlds. It was only in Second Life. I don't think he played in any of the other grids.
Yeah. It's a shame, but it happens, you know. In fact, looking back over these 10 years, you know, on Thursday's blog and the clips I found and stuff, you know, I kept saying, oh, God, there, I haven't seen them, I've heard of them for years, you know, and you know, sort of, and when we were looking at Lost World, if I have time, we'll show that travel log too. I mean, that was Joe Builder's place. And he helped me when I was building in Great Canadian Grid, but I mean, he's still there.
Yeah.
But he gave most of his stuff, or sold most of his stuff, to third Outworlds, and I don't know. You sort of a once name that you saw all the while is now sort of pops up on occasions and think, oh, where have you been?
Yeah.
But truly chatting, I mean, this is quite simple. It's not what you call professional, although your film work is. But this became known as the Hypergrid Safari song. And, you know, it was, you know, look back on it rather affectionately, because everybody, you know, she came on Safari, and on some of them she'd actually perform a few songs. And this song always had to be on the agenda.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. This is our Franco grid when it was going, of course.
I'm charging down the mountain at 100 miles an hour. The crowds are screaming, I got avatar power. I'm diving the ocean down 20,000 leagues to a teleport that sometimes works, but no guarantee on Safari. Hypergrid Safari. On Safari. HG Safari. Yeah, we've been to ancient Rome. We've been on Noah's Ark. We danced on the Titanic and adored Ptarmigan Park. 99 welcome centers. I don't know where to start. Help send the TP. Another landmark on Safari. Hypergrid Safari. On Safari, HG Safari, where we're dancing like gorillas, crash, restart. We break a few sins, we beta test your art. We love what you do if you do it with heart. On Safari, HG Safari. On Safari, Hypergrid Safari. Would you like some visitors? Got something to share? Send us an invite. We'll try to get there on Safari. Hypergrid Safari. On Safari. HG Safari, where we're dancing like gorillas, crash, restart, break a few cents, we beta test your art. Love what you do if you do it with heart. On Safari, Hypergrid Safari, on Safari. HG Safari, Safari.
Safari. It's catchy, isn't it? Oh, wonderful stuff. It's we're looking at that too. It's quite interesting over the 10 years. Thurs is one of the few people whose avatar just doesn't really seem to change that much, or a bit, but the face and the hair is still very. You always recognise her, but there's other avatars you look at and think, sort of, you know, they've made subtle changes over the years. And you barely recognise them 10 years, which doesn't always happen in real life. You know, just avatars. Right, okay, moving on with these in the video mood here, in fact. But the next one is Safari, HG Safari intro. Did we show this one yet? No, I don't think we did. Again, it's got this was obviously a prototype for like a sort of a video, looking back at grids we visited, which is something I'd like to start doing again. At the moment, I just take rough footage, but homage to a Star Enterprise or something, I think. We got why then. Tells us when we're running over time.
Safari began in May 2014. The purpose of the group is to help people learn more about the many grids that exist beyond the confines of Second Life, particularly those grids connected via hypergridding. So far, the Safari has visited over 30 grids and dozens of regions. The group meets every Wednesday at noon Pacific time at our clubhouse to visit a number of selected destinations using landmarks and hypergrid addresses so that members can hone their grid jumping skills. The complete safari lasts about 3 hours and takes us to 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 grids in a single whirlwind journey, giving us a taste of what each location has to offer.
Take the road, let's travel.
Here we go again. Da, 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 da. Okay, I better pause there. We need to get it, but I'm going to start singing along at that rate. Okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to do something I wanted to do here earlier as well. I'm going to go back to the web view. It doesn't seem to have been used particularly much lately, but in the early days, there's a launched Hypergrid Safari group on Flickr here. And I forget, it's a few years since there's been anything on it, but it's like about 380 photos there. And being Flickr, you can sort of open it like that. I think it's as big as it gets, and then you can just flick through them as a slideshow here. So I'm going to through a few of them. You and James can comment as we go. There, of course, there's and I don't think anything here is more recent than the mid 20-teens, basically. So,
yeah.
That artwork looks familiar. I can't think it's on the wall. It's not yours, but it looks familiar.
Yeah. Oh, that's my stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the first anniversary party. So
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, there's me with my body missing.
What is new?
Right.
I love the fact you've got the charter of Linden Lab or whatever hanging up behind you there. Yeah, here. Is that James? I think it might be.
Could be.
Does that look like you, James?
I can't see. Yeah.
Oh, of course you can't. Okay. Yeah, you've.
It does look like James, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My old avatar, right?
Yeah. That was something that we used to do. Wherever we went, we used to find things to sit on that were inappropriate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. James is
a great tradition, right?
James has immortalized that tradition. Oh, God.
Oh, what happened?
It doesn't seem to think, I've got to go to Flickr Pro to show. Tough. Okay. Well, it's flickr.com, of course, and it's a group you can join there, and it's basically called HD Space Safari, and actually there aren't that many people in it. 9 members, but 380 photos. But I mean, anyway, it's a good resource for all this stuff that happened way back when. So we couldn't just show them all here anyway. So get back to where we were. Okay. I should say very quickly, I'm not, this again is on Thursday's blog from this week. Yesterday, Friday, or rather, it was also a 10th birthday for the Moebius grid, which is coincidence, they're a day ahead of us. And just had some quick pictures here to show very cartoony the Moebius grid is. as you
I
probably know.
remember when we went there, we all wore the cartoony avatars.
Yeah.
Yes, they
That's
still
fun.
give them away when we pop in.
I managed to make mine pink.
Of course. What else? It's funny. I don't see you that often, but I mean, on Safari, I can always find. Well, I can usually find James because of his hat, and I can always find Tosha because of her hair, and I can always find Thursday because she was unmistakable. But others, people change, and But yeah, I was looking at one of the videos, and I thought that's got to be Fuschia because
Well, my name came from when I first joined Second Life. I didn't think I'd stay on it. I was just really going to have a look. So I had to think of a name quickly. They gave you the surnames in those days. So I chose Nightfire, but I didn't know what to have as a first name. And Fuschia was the hair dye. It was sitting on the packet, was sitting on the table, and I thought, Fuschia Nightfire sounds good.
Oh, nice.
And
That's
the
great.
hair dye had spelt the word fuchsia wrong, and I've gone the whole way through my virtual world life with people telling me, you've spelt fuchsia wrong, don't you?
That's great.
I don't think so.
Try and make out it was intentional.
Absolutely.
I'm confused now. Isn't that not the? That's just how we spell.
No, the correct spelling is Fuchsia. Fuchsia. It's German.
I think I prefer your version.
Yeah, I do as well.
Let's do with it. Okay, this, by the way, just 4 pictures from a very early blog called AA Little Nightfire. This is HG Safari blogspot.com. You'll have to go quite a way back in time to find it. But she was just looking at you here, so that's one of their version of you. And what was well, I don't know whether that was the first party.
That's the birthday party again. That one was.
Oh yeah, the other
one, I think.
Safari thing is the giraffe. That is always showing up. It's like the cranky old bus too. Yeah, there we are, first anniversary too. So yeah. Right, let's get back to the incidental stuff. So that's all the web stuff I think we've got fixed. Right, there was a follow-up to that travel one. This I think, this was a visit to Lost World. I mean, like all this stuff, this is your filming. It's absolutely great. So, I'm showing it as much as an example of your filming. But Lost World was Joe Builder's own grid at the particular time, and from what I can tell here, oh no, that's my date for importing it. That's no good. But it's actually we saw the Safari intro one a few minutes ago. This is obviously a prototype for a fully fledged episode. And what has just happened here? Sorry, it's gone moving. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Oh God, it's gone. What's this? Something always goes wrong, doesn't it? I pressed the wrong button.
Lost World is a grid consisting of a variety of themes, from fantasy to realism, from dinosaurs to science fiction, from historical to magical places, as well as a huge post-apocalyptic racetrack, a water sports region, and combat zones. When you arrive at the welcome area, you will find a hall of portals that will take you to the individual regions of the grid, each with its own graphics to indicate where it leads to. There is a total of 300 sims with 34 instances of open sim running. It is a grid of entertainment and interactivity for the visitors. This entire grid was built by Joe Builder, who is a prolific creator. You name it, and Joe has probably built it at some time. Joe began building in Second Life and ran an extremely successful store which did mainly makeovers, but it became too much of a real-life job, very demanding and stressful, sometimes working 16 to 18 hours a day. So when a friend of his asked him for help in 2010 with a new grid he was building on OpenSim, Joe decided to go and do it. He was excited by the free content on OpenSim, the fact that everyone seemed to give away their items for no profit, and all were willing to help each other to achieve their goals. Today, he still enjoys that way of working and says that if anyone wants a copy of anything of his, they only have to ask. He has a passion for detail and will often deconstruct and reconstruct things until they are exactly as he wants them. The Hypergrid Safari has enjoyed several visits to various regions in Lost World, but the group has still not seen most of the places he has created. The grid is extremely stable for large groups to visit, and he has many clubs that are available for hosting events. Lost World is hosted on Joe's home computer, and although he can run a lot of regions, he can't keep them all online at the same time. So he keeps the grid as an on-demand basis, only putting regions online when someone wants to visit them. Having said that, if he is online and you wish to go visit something, just drop him an instant message and it takes less than 2 minutes for a region to come online. If he is not online, you can give him a day's notice to let him know which region you want him to put up for you.
Here we go again.
Take the road, let's travel. Take the road, let's travel.
It's weird seeing videos like that. I don't remember them at all. It's like, God.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it really. I mean, you know, I'd love it if you would do something like this every week. Now, you know, the quality of them, given that these are probably nearly 10 years old, not a full 10 years old, of course, because that would have been the start. But you know, yeah. But I don't know. I'd have to ask other cinema makers. You know, I guess if you're in the habit of firing up a camera in places, and I think anything I've actually ever done any editing on, I would remember. But I filmed so much random footage, you know.
Yeah.
Wasn't I there before or something? And quite often I've had something on this show, and I'm having trouble remembering what it is, and it takes Thursday to say that's, you know, remind me, basically. Yeah, so that's wonderful. Now to move to the less good filming section. This is me doing some random filming on Safari on Wednesday. We have Whirly again, who I've noticed has really been in situation, as it were, for I don't know how many. This is silent, so I can film it. Don't know how many safaris we've been at where Whirly has actually performed. I've got one here which actually has the sound on, so I'll show that in a minute. What was really nice here, and if Thursday is watching or does watch later, I really credit her on this. We're going to see in a minute somewhere at least. She's created this whole epic of images from Safari up in the sky. And at first I thought, well, you know, this towering sort of thing, you know, against a transparent background in the sky. And then I realized that each one of those 50-odd pictures also has a slideshow of about 50 more in it. You know, so no way I could actually film that and get them all in. But
wow.
Here, let's see. This is another silent one. So yeah, you can see the pictures just behind.
Oh,
yeah, this is where I'm just panning up and trying to give you an idea. Basically, if you zoom in to any one of those images, this is actually on Safari's site on the Avacon grid, which is another place we have a clubhouse. And as I say, all of these individual pictures are actually slideshows in their own right. And it's no surprise. There's a feel she's overworked sometimes. I mean, you do this. I mean, my goodness, she's done a remarkable job here.
Yeah.
You can just see, all of them all titled and mini slideshows within each of them. And even if you were just looking at this display, that is that's a huge range of grids we've actually visited over 10 years, and you get even more if you click on the picture. So,
Wow.
And there's some grids here we've been to and are no longer there. Others are still going strong. So it's life really. Weren't you involved with Franco Grid quite a lot at the beginning? I know that's no longer there now. But...
I did quite a lot of work with Cherry Manga on the Festavi. Yeah, because I filmed all that, and I also designed some of the crazy avatars. I don't know if you saw. Did you see the avatars that we? When they used to do the avatar things, they put a thing out. I remember doing skinny old man and fat old lady.
I will. I have a clip of Festavi I was showing the other folder after this. Actually, we probably don't need to watch the whole of this to give you the actual idea. Let me just get to the other folder. The folder actually called Fuschia, which is like stuff. Yeah, I've actually got a raw footage there. About half an hour of Festavi, but you've got a 5-minute one here. So let's have a look at this.
Oh, cool.
2015, I mean. So this is 9 years old, isn't it?
Yeah. It was amazing artwork they did. Cherry Manga is such a brilliant artist.
We've our Hypergrid International Expo. We've had all three of them so far. Cherry has been a kind of highlight, making up performances, especially. I guess I'm going to lower the volume on this. It feels like it's drowning me out a bit. And yeah, she does some absolutely wonderful stuff, actually.
Yes. And the way that all the holes, they were thin, wide installations, and they changed for every sort of part of it.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Well, we were talking about this the other week, and looking at some film, and she had this thing kind of.
Oh, that was one of mine. The Avatar, and that's another one of mine.
Yeah. Well, basically, all the avatars, I think, are yours, aren't they? And,
no, not all of them.
No, actually, there are about 3 or 4 of you each doing them.
Yeah.
And of course, this was Franco Grid, but you also had quite a lot of stuff on Kitely, if I recall.
I did, yes, Kitely and Inworld, but Inworld was never part of the Hypergrid, was it? It was another one that kept itself separate.
It was, it was not, and there are a couple of other grids like that, and still are. So we tend to focus on the Hypergrid because, in principle, I think that I can understand if educational grids are locked down. The teachers can teleport out, but the kids can't. But the private sort of grids, I don't know. Some people will open them up from time to time. To allow Safari in. I mean, Safari has been.
Yeah, I think Inworlds did it once, but they don't exist anymore either, do they?
Who?
Inworlds.
No. I've got one of the Inworlds things I've got here is. Oh, have I? I don't know. Ultraviolet Altar Inworlds.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bit here of yours of that too. I'm sort of resisting. This was excellent, though, the Festavi thing. I wish I could run the raw footage film.
That goes on forever, that does.
Yeah. It's just as good. It's just, when you've got one with the soundtrack and it's...
There they are. Oh, that's a fat old
lady. There they are.
The old man.
Yeah. When I'm watching film being played back, I still can't resist the temptation sometimes to right-click on it, thinking I can zoom in with my camera.
Yes, I know. I do
Right.
the same.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look, there they are. Let me zoom in. And hang on, why is it not working? So, I mean, you really have left a pretty huge legacy behind here. You know, your film work, your making of the avatars here, the more abstract sort of statues and things, and yeah, absolutely huge amount of quality stuff, should we say?
Well, I do remember when I started in virtual worlds, there was a group of us artists who thought it was going to be like a new art movement.
Yeah.
You know, like the Impressionists. You know, we thought it was going to be like along those lines, and it did at one point in my life. It became all-consuming. I just seemed to spend nearly all my waking hours making stuff in virtual worlds, and it just became way too much. And my real life art was suffering. I wasn't doing any painting, and apart from the murals, which were my bread and butter money. But spending time in my own studio, I just didn't do it. It was always on virtual worlds making stuff.
Making something, yeah. I was like that at the beginning with Second Life. I mean, you know, we're without anything too much better to do, shall we say? You know, I'd log in, and before I knew it, hours later, I was still in there.
Yeah.
With people and things like that, and yeah, I don't log into the virtual world nearly so much now. I mean, it's great having the studio to do programs for and the chat, and I love seeing wonderful, not possible in real life type stuff, you know, especially. But you know, as a place for art, it is great, but you know, unless you can really monetize things like the machinima of the thing, or actually put the things up in 3D on the web somewhere and get a lot of free traffic, it's not really a economic viable thing.
No.
Yeah, this was in. I mean, you know, Inworld was a great world. Actually, it was. You know, it had the same flavor. I mean, arguably, OpenSim still has a similar flavor as Second Life.
Yeah, but I think there was a time when Inworld was like the second biggest after Second Life.
Yeah. It was actually, when it was launched, you had the feeling of they were saying, right, well, you know, here's another creator, you know, a Second Life, but this is for creators and whatever.
Yes.
They were
because they didn't charge for uploads or anything either, did they?
Well, they were copying the walled garden idea of Second Life, which means, you know, you can't just hop in or out unless you've already signed up to Second Life.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Whereas with the hypergrid, all you need is one avatar on one of the grids that's connected, and you're off. You know, a lot of people have alts on different grids that they use a lot, but basically, you have a suitcase and you have an avatar, and wherever your home grid is, you've got.
That's the black and white.
Yep.
There's the in situ.
Yes.
I see what you mean about the see-through effect as they move from the move angles there a bit. Dancing away there. The other thing is, it's fascinating. You get some avatars that are still really. Well, I must admit, for 3 years in Second Life, I think I never changed my default avatar from the red-haired male.
Excuse me. We've got a knock on the door. Hold on a minute.
Okay. About time we should. We've got our own wolf too, which we're...
Yeah, are you comfortable in your avatar now, Mel?
Yeah, I just think it's so. You know, in the same place, you see these highly made-up avatars, and then very simple ones at the same time. Not to mention the really surreal ones. I'll just let this run a bit until Fuschia gets back. Nice sound too. I do believe I hear the birds are talking.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Back.
I will pause that again. Welcome back. Yeah, your voice is on a bit. I think you need to be a bit closer to your phone, actually.
Okay.
Either that or the video. Oh, yeah, you're fine now. I was
Yeah.
drowning out with the video. Yeah, we should probably start. Normally, well, I said we weren't too fussed for time today, especially because we didn't have to worry about Thursday's timing. But when we get our 10-minute warning, James lets off a noise, which is about that. I noticed on your videos, it goes to safari and then there's this sort of animal noise. Well, we've got one here, haven't we, James?
Oh, yeah.
And basically, I pretend that there's a wolf on the island outside the studio, and that he's getting a bit hungry, and this is his way of telling us that we've got to finish our show and go and feed him. Oh, God, come on, you got to make it into the story somehow, haven't you?
Yeah. Excellent.
But yeah, so I'm just wondering if there's anything else crucial I missed. Sophie Robson, I don't know who that performer was, but he did a very good version of Cocaine here.
Oh yes, that was good.
Oh, Franco Grid, yeah, this one. All right, yeah.
That was so laggy to film as well because there were so many avatars there.
Yeah. Oddly enough, your finished film, do you heavily edit this or whatever? Because you wouldn't know this was laggy. I mean, you're obviously not speeding around.
I did used to spend a lot of time editing.
Yeah, and Mal,
What
we're seeing is ScreenLeap's frame rate is only about 8 frames per second. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah,
right,
I'm actually seeing it at whatever it was on my own machine, but it's slightly behind and slightly loose on the big screen there. But I don't normally mind that because I figure, well, we're showing it editorially, we don't want, if somebody really likes the look of it, then I want them to go to YouTube and watch it, in its glory, proper glory, as it were.
Sure. Yeah, and I had a question, Nina. Are all these on your YouTube channel?
Yes, they're all on my YouTube channel. Okay. Way back down, because now during lockdown, I used my YouTube channel for doing art tutorials that I was recording on Facebook Live and Zoom sessions. So when you first open my YouTube channel, it's more about my real life art, and then there's a load of tutorials. Got a lot of time-lapse videos of some of my paintings and some of my murals. And then if you go down, you'll start coming across all the Inworlds.
We should,
yeah,
we should make about telling people that the YouTube channel is Nina Camplin.
I put it in the lower third, Mal.
Sorry?
I put the address in the lower third. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Fine. Yeah. Yeah. So, and of course, I came across one very recently from you. I don't know if it's on YouTube or embedded into Facebook, which are actually advertising new courses at the moment that you're doing.
Yes. Yeah, because I've started using TikTok now as a platform for my art as well. So I'm trying to put stuff on there. And of course, it's a completely different format to YouTube.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have to do it in a portrait version rather than a landscape, and it's a bit of a pain. But
yeah, I must admit I've resisted that. I mean, it's well, I don't know that. To me, it's just not TV or not video. If it's not video, if you see what I mean. I mean, a panoramic video or super wide screen and high def and all that qualifies. But the idea of a passport
I find TikTok's more of a marketing tool, really.
Well, the other thing is it's designed for people who are on their phones and they're holding it in portrait position most of the time.
Yeah, and an attention span of about 10 seconds as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's not our generation out there. We may have mobile phones, but we don't use them like they do.
No.
But it really infuriates me, especially as I follow some tech programs and things on YouTube, and I'll click on them, and if they're listed under shorts, they always I think they're normal screen, but for some reason they show up in that portrait format, and You know, I think YouTube has 2 versions, and if they don't know which to give you, they give you the tiny one.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah, I think
subject of
I do agree.
yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, James. Yeah,
Nina, what did you use for editing software in the
I was
day?
going to ask that. Yeah.
I used to use Sony Vegas.
Ah, okay.
Right.
I don't do any filming on, because my computer that I've got at the moment, I tried to film, and it just crashes. I can't film anymore in virtual worlds
Yeah, yeah.
because I don't have a as powerful computer as I used to have back then. I can still do the editing, and that's fine. So I can still do like real life footage, but
Yeah.
trying to film Inworld, is just the computer just won't take it. It just it freezes, it crashes, and it drops the frame rate right down when I try and film anything. I can't even actually visit a sim that's got a lot of avatars in it anymore.
Yeah.
So another reason why I dropped a lot of using virtual worlds.
I still go
dilemma
to
for machinists. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Pet Love, who we used to work with, I remember Pet Love Pet Shop, don't you, from Second Life, I think? Or would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. She used to film this show when it was the Second Life show, before James took over. And yeah, she, you know, a lot of the decent video down there, they were editing in Vegas, Sony's Vegas.
Yep.
But a lot of people have now moved to Blackmagic software, Fusion and stuff like that, which you can actually get really cheap or even free software that does the job just as well as the, you know, the kings.
Yeah, I'm using Wondershare now. Wondershare, Filmora. That's the one I use these days, and it's a lot. Well, it's cheaper. I think it was just about £50 to buy the program.
Yeah.
And you get it for life. There's no renewal fees or anything.
Yeah. And I actually updated my subscription to that, I think, or fairly recently, because it's got AI in it now, so you can use AI for the editing.
Yeah.
So, it will probably be of benefit when I get around to using it for something, you know. But yeah, I think it's. I know I've got, you know, my Windows machine is now almost obsolete, but I mean, I know I've updated quite a few times to actually get things like Firestorm to work over the years. So what was easy to do in the old days, you know, and started getting difficult, it required a new machine to run the virtual world. You know, the filming software and everything seemed to work quite happily locally, but with a combination of bandwidth and more complex virtual worlds, it's really quite a task to run all those things at once.
Yes.
But yeah, well, you're looking good here. I hope you acquire a new machine so you can do some new videos.
But, well, to be honest, one of the other reasons that I stopped doing it was because I started suffering with arthritis in my hips, and sitting at a computer for too long, it's just not good for me at all. No. So standing at an easel, I can handle now. Even doing a mural, standing up, as long as I'm moving around, but sitting at a computer is just not good for me anymore.
Actually, I'm the same. I've got it in my knees, or particularly a right knee, you know, but sort of, it's, well, I don't notice it when I'm sitting.
I had a hip replacement 2 years ago, so I now consider myself a real-life cyborg as well.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that's a good advertisement for one's aging health. I know. Yes, of course. I'm an atomic, I'm a virtual, and I'm a cyborg.
Yeah.
Nice one. You give me an idea there. Maybe I should do a mixed video which mixes my real life face with the avatar face and a robot face, you know. Somehow blend them together so they're seamless. All right. Anything else? Any more questions from you, James? Because I mean, I know you're kind of keen on the video side of all this too.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm late to the game. Yeah, I'm late to the game in Machinima, but it's wonderful watching these videos, and they were as good then as they are now. It's wonderful.
Yeah, they're timeless. You know, the quality is endured. So, yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy doing them. I used to love doing video work.
Have you any plans to join us on the occasional safari again?
Well, I tried to come on the last one, but I had real difficulty downloading. As I told you, I was struggling to get Firestorm to download. There was a glitch in their the download for the OS Grid, and it was just I kept getting an error come up every time I tried to download it, and I actually was getting worried about whether I'd make it here today, but I finally got it downloaded on Friday, so I missed the last hypergrid. But yeah, I'd love to try and join you again.
Is it on using Windows as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was they had an issue with the website or something. It was only for like 24 hours, but there was only a certain time when I was at home in at the computer able to do it, and I had other things going on the rest of the time, so I had to leave it.
Yeah, it's a shame. They're quite a small, sort of company. So if they get a glitch on their server for downloads, it can, It's like Grizz themselves, sort of. One thing you didn't miss actually was that we on Wednesday, and if our viewers, it's probably worth pointing this out. Our first stop, I've forgotten where, Pandora, I think it was.
Neverworld.
Neverworld, that was it. The grid had massive problems. And we couldn't get, some people couldn't get in, others got in, but nothing rezzed, including themselves. And it was a disaster. We ended up moving to the second stop at Avacon early. And once we got to Avacon, the party started, and that was fine. But anybody who tried to log into Safari at the beginning this week and hadn't been warned will probably wonder what on earth was going on. They go, I can't get into the grid. Oh, my Firestorm's broken. My computer's broken, So,
yeah, I remember that. We always had issues. There were always, poor Thursa was always having to deal with IMs from people saying, I can't log in.
Still does.
I just thought of something I always laugh at when I remember it. A friend of mine, from America actually, he was staying here with his niece. Now he's disabled, so he couldn't get up to the height of where I am. But his little niece could do, and she came up because she wanted to get onto the internet to, I don't know, check email or something else like that, and she took one look at my desktop, which of course is rather customized, and sort of she couldn't figure out what to do at all, even though I showed her. And then she went out and sort of was wandering around everywhere saying my internet was broken. My internet was broken. There's nothing wrong with my internet, thank you, but you just didn't. You didn't get it. But yeah, it's sorry, the hypergrid is broken today. Do come back later. Something like that. Well, I'm looking at the list of what I got in front of me here. I just want to keep showing more films, but I think we really can't do that many. I'm just looking at the main folder.
You'll get the Pink Floyd clocks in a minute, Mel.
Oh no, that one. I like the wolf because I've got a story to go with it.
All right.
The Pink Floyd clocks you can demonstrate when we're off air.
All right.
Okay, just looking in the folder called Birthday Show here. Oh yeah, we did all these earlier. Road Less Traveled, of course. Lost World, HG Safari intro. Oh right. Oh yeah, that was actually, this is another one from earlier in the week. Oh yeah. Talking of avatars, look who was on that one. This is Whirly Placebo again, so this is later on when we were kind of dancing. But yeah, we normally show these as a reminisce thing along with the slideshows from Versus Blog, but I think we saw that. Yeah, I think I've covered everything that I had on standby. The thing I'm really sad about, of course, is the let's go back to your folder. The one I actually saw for real, but also this is, just wonderful. This to me represents the way obviously you've been working on this for years, even before Second Life, but this sort of, to me, represents the way you've taken the mindset, possibly, of the virtual and transferred it to your real life art. Would you say that's the case?
Yeah.
Or
it was so useful for doing stuff like this, because before I had to imagine, and try and picture it all in my head how the rooms would look and how they'd be situated, whereas I could actually build it, what the mural would look like, build it in World, and then take photos, like I say, from all kinds of angles to decide where I was going to put the perspective lines. And yeah, it was very helpful.
So I'm just going to share the audience before we go. I'm going to go back to, if I can find where I'm doing it, go back to your website, and I'm going to go to that particular one, if I can find it again, because there are some links there to we can show people that give people an idea of the whole process if you're actually making that, along with a lot of other things here, of course. But now we go to murals. And we go down quite a bit. I actually missed it first time round. I didn't realise that once I'd opened the...
You've gone past it. The Valspar paint.
Yeah, it's, oh, there we are. Right. There we are. Yeah, so if I actually scroll down here, further down, that was what it looked like before you started painting. Look at quite a big difference there. There's your scissor thing that I waved you from. And all this collaboration there. But as you said, there's I'm going to dare to actually click on this and see if it loads here. Oh, it does after a fashion. So this is you got a link. This is a site called Valspar Paint UK, and this was like a little documentary they did on you, really, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah.
Hang on, is it there? Oh yes, it's there. Which you guys can, if you go to her website and get to this picture, you'll be able to find the link for this. But Valspar Paint UK, and I would like to know what's happened. Maybe it's how long? Oh, here we are. Here we are.
Yeah.
Right. It's just slow. It's quite old, so it's slow to actually load out. But let's see if I can.
Me.
This is 2 minutes. This is short. Can't cut it in and out, unfortunately. Oh, unless I can do it on the system.
I'm not sure we're seeing the video, Mal.
Oh, crumbs. I am sorry. I was trying to up the volume. I was trying to up the volume, and that didn't help, did it? Let me just move back a little bit. So.
It was quite cold then as well. That was February we did that in.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, here we are. I managed to tweak the volume. Okay. Yes, I remember it was a wrapped up day.
Yeah.
They love it as much as I do. So it just felt.
That would be difficult for the fingers, I imagine.
Yes.
Unless you've got sort of fingertip gloves.
Yeah.
Everything warm except the tips.
He's all about colour for making smile style, and he's completely passionate about painting colour. We hope that 3D House is going to inspire people and make them think that colour doesn't have to be.
It was like working on a boat as well, because the wind really picks that thing up and it rocked.
Oh boy.
Whether you like bright bold colours or whether you like neutral.
Oh, that was the guy who was helping you the day I was there, actually. Oh, well,
Yeah. My assistant.
I just say, yeah, that was quite an aerial view almost there. Yeah. How did it? Well, on this, did they use the camera to get them? Well, so I hope they paid you for the advert too. No, that's fascinating. So if so if you're at Nina's site and you look at the murals, when you get to that one, you simply scroll down the page and you'll find those links. Oh, and there's a time-lapse video of the same thing, but time-lapse doesn't fit with our show format, I'm afraid. Here another half hour. But it's wonderful stuff. And the other thing that actually impressed me, one tutorial, I just will mention it. Back in the miserable days that were called the 80s, Margaret Thatcher and everything else, there was something that's now really odd. It feels so like history now, the miners' strike.
Oh, yeah.
And the women, they were supporting the men, and they had this huge painted banner. And you were looking for it, and you found that it was lost, and so you recreated the whole banner for them.
Yes, I did a modern version of it because I didn't want me to copy it.
Yeah, but it was very sort of similar. It was a tribute, really. Yeah. Anyway, that's on the time lapse too, and that's just just a nice touch, being able to not quite recreate, but sort of recreate something that was lost to time, and make sure it's not forgotten. So. I presume that's hanging somewhere in a.
No, what happened is it's the 40-year anniversary of the miners' strikes this year, and all the women's groups are having a meet-up. I think it's next month, April, May time. It must have gone by now. Anyway, they're all meeting up in Leeds. That's why they wanted to get their banners back up to take up there.
I know that a lot of Welsh. Are you in Wales?
I am in Wales, yes.
Yeah, I get confused with Luton and Wales and all sorts of places. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of small museum kind of things around for looking back at that time, mining museums and things like that. I mean, it's all left, of some of that, but, I would think, murals like that and things would be appropriate to hang in a museum somewhere so the whole thing is remembered. There is a good side to that. I was watching a news program the other day. We're going way off subject here, but it was actually in the northwest of England somewhere, so Tyneside or somewhere like that, where we're a very heavy mining community. Yeah. And all the mines were closed, and these mines were actually surrounded by a lot of social housing kind of estates and things like that. And the local council has actually flooded all the mines to create a heat pump, which means that all the social housing in the area gets their electricity for next to nothing because it's generated by heat pump technology. So they've actually made a constructive use of the old mines underground by flooding them, and they now create their own heat through a heat pump system. I don't fully understand the technology, but it's it creates enough electricity to house all the council area kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether they're going to do that in Wales. But, I can tell James this is a long show. But I think it's been worth it. That's our other noise. The birds. Okay. I went off topic there. Sorry about that, but I couldn't resist. Okay. So if you want to know a little bit more, the address here you want to look up is ninacamplin.co.uk. That's NINACAMPLIN.co.uk. And it's got lots of pictures of animal paintings and murals and all sorts of other juicy stuff there. So, Fuschia, it has been wonderful having you here. I think the only shame, of course, is that Thurza couldn't make it, because I had visions of the two of you reminiscing together.
Yeah, I've never actually spoken to Thurza properly either.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, she's been acting as my co-host here for I don't know how long now, probably a couple of years, and she's good. She's really good. She knows how to talk. She knows how to interview people. She's going to be leaving us for quite a bit on the show side of it shortly, but because it's just too overworked. But she's really good at it, Yes. And sometimes she'll ring me in the week offline and just natter for an hour or two. But she can do the TV bit. She sounds like a good interviewer, and she has all the background for our guests and things, so she'll know the sort of questions to ask. So sometimes I don't. I do the more overview questions, but she can really dive in there like she does with Safari and stuff. So we wish you the very best, Thurza. All of us here. That's from me. I'm Fuschia, I guess, and James. Yeah. Yep. All the best.
Thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah, and yeah, hopefully we'll be seeing Cesar again soon. But I'd love to have you back in a not too distant future, maybe with a bit more of a focus on the RL side of it, not necessarily even on this show, but but we will see. It's been great having you here, and it's a trip down memory lane too. So
yeah, it's been great watching some of those videos. I'd forgotten all about some of them.
yeah, I know. And I'm looking at that other picture of you on the screen at the moment, the little inset photo where you've got a lovely expression on your face and you're looking at the cat, but of course the cat is a painting, whereas you are real. And, just seeing the two things together is just wonderful. Right, okay. Well, that's it for this week, folks. Next week, not quite sure how we're going to do next week because our guest actually wants to use text to talk. In other words, they want to type things into Discord and use the robot that converts it into audio. But I've done some tests and I haven't got it to work yet. So help! But anyway, we will be back same time, same place next week. And do go along to the Safari region on Avacon grid. That's AVACON. And there's a full region there which has a duplicate clubhouse. It has teleport links for the hypergrid, but it also has that installation from this week for the birthday. So it's got a little stage, but then it's got all those pictures of Thursdays in the sky. And you can just, fly up to them and just go to one of them and click on it and slideshow, then to the next, then to the next. And you'll have a happy week up there. You'll be able to finish that just in time to come to our show next week, I think. Yes, something like that. Anyway, so we'll be back then. So for now, that's it. Wonderful show, I must admit. My thanks to James Atlan, sitting on my right, for filming, chatting, everything else. Thank you, James.
You're very welcome, Mel, and thank you for bringing us together.
All right. And thank you, last but not least, well, you're the only one, two of us here, to Fuschia Nightfire, otherwise known as Nina Camplin, for amazing stuff across worlds, should we say. And thank you for being here. It's great seeing you again. Back.
Thanks for having me.
All right. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to wish you all a very good morning, a very good afternoon, a very good evening, or indeed a good tomorrow, depending on wherever and whenever you are. And it's a wrap.